Corel draw time, showing you how to weld a name into a split letter monogram or any type of round sign or anywhere that you want to weld a name and have it cut as one file. So let's go ahead and click our text tool. We're going to click onto the artboard. Let's go with McKinney we've been using through all these videos. I'm going to scale that up just so I can see it nicer. Let's just go with a Helvetica Bold just for this one. You can choose any font you want. Now, very important, it has to go above this line and below that line. Basically, whatever art you're putting this into, it has to overlap so that when we weld it, it's all connecting together. So I have to actually scale it. As you can see, I've gone below that line and I've gone above that line. Let's just make it bigger. I always think that these look nice when they're filled in. So as you can see, I can use my arrow keys here as well, just to move it around. As you can see, I've got it going above this line and below that line. So it's basically overlapping the art that I want it to overlap. So now we select our text again, and we have to convert that to curves. So we go to Object, Convert to Curves. Then I'm going to go to Edit, Select All Objects. Then we're going to go to Object, Shaping, Weld. And it's all welded together. This would now all print together, and that's it. Super easy, guys. It's got a stroke of black. So as you know, Glowforge recognizes strokes as either you can score them or cut them. And if it's a fill, Glowforge will engrave it. So if we had a changed the fill to black and didn't have a stroke on it, then that would engrave. But we don't want that. We actually just, oops, select that again. We want it just to have a nice stroke on it so it cuts. But if you do want it as engrave, then you're going to want to have it just as a fill with no stroke. So then we're going to go to Export. And we will just go to my desktop here under the test. And I'm going to export this as an SVG file. We'll call it McKinney. We'll export that file. Then we'll go over to our Glowforge app and import that and see what we got. Beautiful. So we want to scale this up. So in Glowforge, you do not want to hold shift when you scale. If you hold shift in other applications, it scales proportionally. In Glowforge, it's the opposite. If you hold shift, it allows you to scale it all weird and stretchy. So I'm just going to undo that. But if you don't hold shift, it scales it proportionally, which is really nice. It always these letters always look nice when they're not squished. So we want to make it as big as we can on the board here. Now, one thing to know is that if it's in red, so if you're off the art and it's in red, you're good to go. If you were off the board a little bit and it's gray, that's not going to print. So we need to bring it onto the board and it's red. And then we always remember to set focus, the little three dots here, set focus, click onto our board, and it's going to focus. And once that's done, you may need to reposition your art just a little bit more, depending if the camera has adjusted or not. And you are good to go. Print and done. So that's it for Corel Draw, guys. You can use that same technique to weld pretty much anything.